Hey everybody, this is Ginger and this is Ginger's chat show and it's Wednesday, May 10th. And I hope all is well. Waiting for others to come on and I just let them know, hey Nancy! How's it going in Wisconsin? How is it weather-wise? Midwest and some parts of the other country is getting hit by severe storms, so as the saying goes, keep a weather eye to the sky. Here it's beautiful and sunny and 63 degrees, and I have all three windows open here in my apartment. I'm on the top floor, so I'm trying to keep cool as much as possible. It's not too bad, it's really pretty good. So I have my heaters off and everything, so I'm just comfortable, and that's all I want, just to be comfortable. So anyway, this came out late yesterday, and then of course it happened today. Yesterday, George Santos was indicted by a federal court in New York, and he turned himself in, and he's been arrested, and he's been jailed. He's being held. He was indicted on 13 counts. Let's see, wire fraud, money laundering, and other illegal means, and lying, and also campaign fraud. He's done this a number of times, and until they finally caught him doing this. So, as always, he's playing not guilty. Well, the evidence is right there. It's, all the paper trail and everything. And he was also caught lying. And I can't understand why McCarthy, when he was told that Santos has been lying. So, if Hakeem Jeffries was in as a speaker, he would have booted Santos out. And New York, the district where Santos came from, they want Santos out. They want to recall him and put somebody in this place. And I think it should happen. The part that I don't get is, why isn't Trump put in jail? Well, yeah, McCarthy may need his vote, but he's not going to get it. McCarthy needs to be replaced. He's not an effective speaker. He's floppy, he's wish-washy, he just doesn't keep on top of things and doesn't do his homework as he should. You should kick out Green, you should kick out Jordan, and you should just kick out the MAGA supporters. What you should do. Because they don't belong there. So anyway, he's in jail, and so we'll just have to wait and see what other steps they're going to take on this and when the trial's going to be. So, and I don't think Santos is going to get the lawyer that he wants either. Hi, Carol. Hi, Dorothy. How are things in Florida? Up here, as I told Nancy, it's 63 degrees, very sunny. It's really kind of nice, and I have all my windows open and everything. So, and I'm being on the top floor. And one good thing, I'm not in a brick building. That really helps, Because brick buildings have a tendency to retain the heat, not disperse it. Okay. So with George Santos in deep doo-doo, and he 13 counts, and all of them are federal charges. They're not misdemeanors. So, oh, I hope all is well, Dorothy. Yeah, when I went to see my doctor, she had to raise my blood pressure meds a little bit. So, um, so why this is doing this is beyond her, beyond me too. And then next month I go in and see orthopedic surgeon for the shoulder. You know, the pitfalls of falling apart, right, ladies? It's not fun. I could do without the falling apart part. My hand is okay. Once in a while it will act up. Especially in the middle thing again. My other orthopedic surgeon in Puyallup, he specializes mostly in hands. Okay. He says this takes anywhere from 6 months to a year for it to heal and get back to normal. And once in a while, I do the hand exercise and everything so there's no scar tissue buildup. And what caused it to have trigger finger was when he went in there was some reason there was scar tissue being wrapped around that nerve, wrapped around that joint nerve right here, which controls this. Okay. And it was putting a squeeze on it. So anytime I used it, and it would lock up because the scar tissue was hanging onto it. So that's when he did the work on it. But it's doing okay. It's doing okay. Now with my shoulder on this side, once in a while my arm would tingle. That's because the nerve is being pinched. And so I told the nurse there at my other orthopedic surgeon who does shoulders and knees, it sounds like it's coming back. I go, yeah. So, it happens. It does. It happens. Anyway, in the other news, the Manhattan DA, as usual, is keeping Trump on his toes and putting him in his place. Trump was trying to squash basically Michael Cohen, and for appeal, and in other words, Trump was trying to appeal his thing with Cohen, and the judge threw it out of court. Said, nope, not going to happen. So, and with the E.G. Carroll's, her win yesterday in court against Trump, she's going to be getting $5 million because he has to pay her $5 million. Well, you know, he's going to appeal it. Well, that appeal will be thrown out. And said, no, you will pay for it. There's a couple of other defamation suits that are pending as well. So he's being browbeaten in court. You think the guy would learn? You know? I'm sorry. You think they would learn? And the judge said he gave him ample opportunities during the trial. Carroll's trial. He said, if you want to testify in your defense, come over now and testify, not after the fact. Well, as you know, Trump did it after the fact, and he still lost. Well, Trump felt that it wasn't fair, and he was whining and crying and everything else. To go, no, you should have been there attending the trial and everything else. Did he listen? No. He decided to be a spoiled little brat, and he wants everything done for him. Well, it's not going to work, Trump. And it's not going to work when you do have to attend trial at the February 6th when the indictment comes on that. And also attend the trial for the 34 count indictment. You have to attend that case as well. You can't arbitrarily not attend. Whereas in the civil side, you don't have to attend if you don't need to. But, you know, he who shall not be named should be head slapped so hard on this. Also, I think the Federal Elections Commission needs to throw out his application for running again and deny him funds. They need to take off the gloves and really smack him for it, you know. Even George Santos has gotten in trouble for campaign fraud too. So, we'll see what happens after that. And we need to clean up, get rid of the corruption. That's what we need to put, as citizens of this country, we need to push back at Congress and push back at McCarthy and say, no, corruption's not allowed there. And some changes need to be made in the halls of Congress. And some say, well, that's just wishful thinking. I said, no, you're the boss. The American people are the boss of those doing government work or assigned to do government work. They're elected to do government work. They work for you, which is me and you, right? And people seem to forget that. So you have to push back and say, no, you tell them this needs to be done and need to be fixed now, not down the road. Now, like for the debt ceiling thing, why the GOP don't want to, they don't seem to understand that everything was paid for prior fiscal year. And this, all the things that he who shall not be named did, the one that caused inflation to go up. He's the one that caused the problems. And the GOP, for some, conveniently decided to forget the fact that Trump did it. Well, they need to be reminded. And if they're not going to listen, tell them, well, guess what? You'll be fired, which means you'll be voted out. And they should not be allowed to, hey, Virginia, they should not be allowed to collect money either. In other words, collect severance pay. We should have been, as citizens of this country, we should have been a little bit more vigilant when everything was formed and it was done. See, during the 1700s, when our government was being formed, at that time, the representatives were given per diem based on the industry of each state. In other words, they were given allowances to pay for food and for lodging and things like that, okay? Well, when World War I came around, remember your history, that's when the income tax came into play. Well, originally the income tax was supposed to expire after World War One, after it was all done over with. Well, Congress, those especially in the Republican side, liked it, the extra excess money so much it became permanent. It was never expired, and that was a big mistake. They should have expired it, and then the only tax that needs to be collected is from corporations, not from people. Um, that's what that causes the big problems. And the per diem pay should be on respective states depending on their industry, how much people make, and everything else. That's when that representative senator should get their pay from. Uh, there should be no, on the income tax and everything else, some of that money go to other states like red states. No, they need to be uh, forced to stand on their own 2 feet. And the money should stay in each respective state, not, you know, given to another state. They need to be kept in their own respective states. So anyway, just do your research, check up on it, and of course, you get some of these trolls and some of these idiots. Um, Sit there and put out misinformation. They need to be slapped back. Told, nope, this is the way, this is how it is right now. Go do your research. Go do your homework. See, here on my podcast, I try to keep everything truthful as much as possible because I go and do my research. And I don't like putting out misinformation. I don't like doing that. And then correct people's, there's how history was done. I said, go check your history. Go to the library and check your history. Now, the other thing too is education. That should be the utmost importance. Is education. And people like DeSantis, who sits there and tries to micromanage everything, and that's what he's doing. He's micromanaging. He should leave Disney alone. Why is he so against Disney? Just because they called out on the bill which they felt is wrong for everybody. And DeSantis needs to be booted out of office. In other words, take a long walk off of a very short pier. And there's plenty of piers down in Florida. Okay. People like him should not be in office. They should have a person in there that does things correctly and not go after companies and everything else when tourism is tourism is the biggest industry in Florida. Am I right, Dorothy? It's one of the big main industries, tourism in Florida. Like your cruise ships and like your, theme parks and everything else. Up here in Washington State, yes, we have some tourism, but our big main industry is airplanes like Boeing. Now it's more into computer, like Microsoft and other small companies. Microsoft got into trouble trying to swallow up other small computer companies, software companies, and they got in trouble for it because they said, no, that's monopolizing and that's against monopoly rules. So they got slapped for that. And they got slapped in Europe for that too. Because Europe is very, very strict about that, where we should be strict about that here. It's fine if you want to start your own software company, But you don't sit there and get paranoid and try to swallow up others to prevent competition. Competition should be healthy. Okay? So anyway, I think that's pretty much it. I'm getting hungry. I need to eat my lunch. Um, so I hope everyone is well. I'm gonna make it 20 minutes, 21 minutes today. Um, but I will post this on my YouTube channel. And I'm also working on making some changes into my YouTube channel too. So, trying to bring more subscribers in. But be sure to encourage them to subscribe. Be sure to share this. Um, let's see, let me check my calendar. 1 minute. Yep. Ginger's Chat show on Friday. Let's see. Well, you know what? I think parents need to put their foot down and should teach Black history. And yes, Orlando would fall apart because if push comes to shove, if Disney decides to move out and move to a blue state, not be in a red state, Florida would fall apart. And it'd be all it will be all DeSantis' fault. It would fall on him. Because he's the one that sat there and picked a fight. And he should be told that to his face. Because in California, like on the governors in California, they didn't bug Disney. They welcome Disney. They love it there. Sometimes they take their kids to Disney. You know, Disneyland here in California. So, I don't get it. I get the impression DeSantis doesn't want people not to know everything. And does not want people to have fun or have their activities, okay? Up here in Washington State, real quick. Up here in Washington State, we have, visits Rainier Park, up here, Mount Rainier National Park. We have fishing here, and we have fishing out in the Sound. We have fishing some of the lakes down there. We have camping grounds. Some are private, some are company owned. Most people prefer to camp at national parks because their fees are lower than anybody else's, and so they just enjoy recreational activities. And our governor loves it. He encourages it. So, another thing too. Tomorrow, the 11th, I think it is. I think it's tomorrow. The COVID protocol, emergency protocol that's been in place for the last 3 years is now ending. And people go back to the normal thing, and especially in the medical field, it's going back to the usual thing. They did learn a lot about this. They still require wearing masks when you go in the clinic, but once this thing ends, and at the same time, the CDC will end the COVID emergency protocol. They will end that. So, which is good. They got this COVID thing under control. As long as people get their shots and everything, it should be great. It should be good. Okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and sign off. I'll see you guys Friday at 1 o'clock. And encourage others to watch. If you don't have Facebook, if you don't like using Facebook, go to YouTube. But I'll be posting my video there. I can't go live here there yet. I need to get up to at least 1,000 or 2,000 subscribers in order to get to that stage. And then maybe, upon maybe, I may switch over to using YouTube. And then of course T Brown, you know that she does her podcast through TikTok. And I noticed the TikTok subject has basically been dropped. So I haven't heard anything more about that. And it's sort of funny, a lot of other government officials use TikTok. So, anyway, okay, I will see you guys later. Love you all, and I will see you on Friday. Okay? Love you. Mwah. Bye-bye. Oh, and be sure to insist, persist, and share.